I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling the city like I'm dealing with teas. One mic, one hook, just real in the city. A magician on a mic like silver, man, I flow calm and it can't come realer. And the lead from the arms might kill you, but instead I throw palms and heal you. In the city where shit gets grey, and the dreams just don't come fair though. By any means we all need this rare though. Sophie scored more times than Aguero, man, it's all messed up. We got the whole game dressed up, fake life in a red tux, no clues to your head stuck. And I'ma just keep eating rappers like Sami, cause your weak bars couldn't touch or harm me. I defend my team like Walker, but it's just me, myself and the army. So I just implode facts, kick back like Kimbo's back. Trust me, I've been low, it's mad. So many souls been broken half. And the man roll round in a whip and all of the windows black. So you're thinking they with those straps, and the thing goes black. So you could get hit quick with a ricochet, let we split like rips in a wicker tray. Death just fucks with a living prey, like you just one real bad trick away. Man, it ain't fun to run, but don't think that the gun the one. On a knife either, it could turn on your neck and get cut like a wife beater. Man, I'm real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with keys. One mic, one hook, just real in this city. Real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with keys. One mic, one hook, just real in this city. You can shoot your shot, I won't let it in. Like Edison, you just miss then run, no reverend. No hits, but the whole shit's relevant. Kick stay crisp in the mix, that's evident. Word to the prince, Baz telling him. Murder them quick, fast shelling them. That's a line that the OG selling them. Old me road, don't go propelling them. I just set in defiant ways, hit hard like Pep in his prime days. Stop me, I don't break down, I'm Rodri. You ain't getting in my space, you ain't getting in my place. No way like setting a blind maze. Wanna know why I'm getting these migraines? I flow cold, I'm setting the ice age. You can never go far though, I know. You don't get a clap, no bravo. My whole track's cinematic like marble. Those rappers in my bag like marbles, thinking I'm a trip like carpools. When the girls say hey like Arnold, I don't quit when I'm that good shit. If I flip when I spit, it's a barrel parcel. I'ma go in, don't tempt me. I've been jamming on a mic, I'm Mendy. I don't want hard in the city, it's a red card if you roll 10 Mendy. You don't look mean or trendy, so you wear cut eyes from Fendi. Man, I spit like Uzi's plenty, there's no wonder the shells so empty. Real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with keys. One mic, one hook, just real in this city. Real in this city, no steel in this city. I eat rappers, so I make a meal of this city. I'm feeling this city like I'm dealing with keys. One mic, one hook, just real in this city.
Hi guys, it's Andy from Man City Fan TV. How is everyone today and this evening? Just a quick live catch up really, just to have a quick chat about the game tonight, which if you watched it wasn't great. It sort of picked up in the late second half, but overall it wasn't great. It really, really wasn't, I'll be honest with you. I was actually quite surprised when we saw the lineup, and I thought, God, that's a pretty strong lineup considering we only need a point. But the first half it sounded like there were rumblings from the crowd, who I think were very disappointed, very, very disappointed with the performance. And yeah, it did pick up. It definitely picked up in the second half, got better as it wore on, but still the things that were going wrong in the first half was still happening in the second half. I'm sure Pep will be getting into the players, just saying, you know, you're fighting for places here, and some of the performance was just not good enough. But we're through. Got to stay positive. We only needed a point. We've got a point. We're top of the table, and we can safely go to Zagreb with a skeleton team, and we can rest players, which is all important. So, Woma's on. Terrible. Only way to describe it. I don't know. Are you sure that's the only way? Because I could think of about 30 or 40 words to describe the actual performance. Man City says horrible. There's another word. Ocean Ray, City need to give their head a wobble. Going nowhere if this keeps on. Well, if you know, I know obviously we've got some players out and things like that, but we can't be putting in performances like that, especially at home against a team like Shakhtar. That's I know come the next stage, next phase in February, we're going to have obviously the likes of Laporte, possibly even Sane, or some new signings maybe back. But that is very disappointing considering there are players there playing for a place, trying to impress Pep, who didn't impress at all tonight, in my opinion, anyway. Mervyn Thomas, play the kids in the last game. Yeah, I've got a feeling we'll see a completely different. We'll see one or two sort of fringe players getting an opportunity, but I think overall we'll see a lot of the kids going out there. I mean, it's pointless. I mean, we're through. We're going to top the group, so it's pretty pointless. Kamal Dwyer. It's worrying. We don't look right. The players didn't care, and Pep didn't seem to care. Not sure whether Pep was getting a bit irate on the sideline from what I saw. But the players' body language and things like that, I think, you saw Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandinho having a right go at several players. And I don't know. It's a Tuesday night. It's a Champions League game. And we needed a point, and we got it in the end. And it felt like that as the game was progressing throughout the first half. It felt like, look, if we get a point, we're happy. We don't want to exert ourselves. And thankfully, we'd already done the hard yards to get us to where we were before tonight's game. But still, you've got fans, albeit, the ticket prices were good tonight. But you've got a pretty decent sized crowd in there. It's kind of school night as well, and things like that. So, but still, it wasn't brilliant. Andy, I thought you were at game. So did I. I had a call first thing this morning, very early, that a training company had let down a client, and could I get to Wales as quickly as possible? So I said yes. Obviously, work comes first, and I had to help them out. So I had to drive down to Welshpool this morning. So I didn't get back. I only got back home at, I think, 20 to 8. So there would have been no chance of me getting to the Etihad in time. So I gave my ticket away. Somebody on Twitter, I just said, there's a free ticket if you want it. And I gave it to some lad. So at least he got a chance to go and watch City that he possibly doesn't get to go as many times as I do. So that's it. I think we need to make some changes next summer. I think there's going to be some serious money spent in the summer definitely for next season. When we've got players coming, they've gone over the curve now. We've got players like David Silva, who's obviously leaving as well. But the likes of Fernandinho, I think, will struggle. We've got Sergio, who's looking like he's really struggling at the moment with this niggle. I just think he's been carrying this for weeks and weeks and weeks. So, I think you're right. Hi, Andy, I'm on vacation, but just want to say that we're losing our identity, La Ciel Bleu. We're certainly not playing like we did last season, that's for certain. I don't know about our identity, and what concerns me more than that, rather than losing our identities, I just think there are too many players at the moment resting on their laurels and not reaching sort of what you would say is a 7 out of 10 performance in most games. They're just simply not. They're a 5 and a 6. I mean, you only have to see the player ratings over the last few games. Very unusual. That players are not stepping up. Tonight, I thought Kevin De Bruyne played very well, was probably one of our better players. I thought Fernandinho worked his socks off, made some brilliant covering tackles, but we'll talk about the players shortly, I'm guessing. Sandy, Ken UK, it was enough, need to step up a lot more now. A few too many not great performances so far this season. There's been a number of them, and that's the worry. And I just don't think it's about the fact because we've lost Leroy Sané and we've lost Laporte. I mean, that's no excuse for the type of quality we've got in our squad. I just think there are too many players not stepping up and performing to the level that they can do. What else have we got here? Kamal, there's just something about the season as a whole which doesn't look right. Yeah, quite possibly. Mark the Blue says boring game, Andy. And again, I could describe that in a different way. I'm not sure I would say it was boring. I would say it was dire. Ocean Rage, the chemistry is just not clicking. It isn't. Was that a friendly? Very disappointing display, says Mark Armstrong. It was. I said before, it looked like there were too many players not really fighting for a starting berth, and I'll name them. Angelino, I thought, was shocking. Thought Cancelo was poor. Thought Gundogan was sort of in and out. All right, he got a goal. Rodri, all right, he's coming back from injury, but he's played for Spain and he's also played for City, and this is his next game. And he possibly will need a bit more time, but, wasn't brilliant. Raheem Sterling again today, I didn't think was great. Bernardo Silva again was all right, and so there's no excuse about tiredness for him. Gabby Jesus again worked his socks off, and did brilliantly for getting Gundogan his goal, but again, I don't know, just really wasn't there. You've got Otamendi, who again, I thought Otamendi made some great tackles tonight. Got caught out of position a couple of times, but put some great tackles in. But I don't know. It's just they don't look like a team that, or players that are thinking, you know what, I might get a starting place against Newcastle on Saturday. I'm having a good go here. It wasn't. Come out. I spent most of my time on the phone during the game. I've never been so bored watching a Pep Guardiola team. Edward Denham, hi Andy, very generous for you to give your ticket away. Socrates Zambas, hey Andy, my favourite YouTuber. How are you, Socrates? Are you well? Man City, what changes would you make, Andy? Changes as in what? Expand a bit more on that question. What changes what? For tonight's game, or changes to the team, the squad? Expand a bit more on that and I'll give you my opinion. Sanjay J says, poor. Kamal Dwight says, Pep telling the media now we played so good. I mean, that's nonsense. That's absolutely garbage. I would like to see him come out saying, I'm very disappointed in some of the players tonight, and give them a rocket up their ass. But, Pep doesn't do that. He tends to stick with the media line and keeps everything in-house. I think if he's saying we played so good tonight to the media, I certainly won't be saying that in the changing room behind closed doors. Ryan Lee, what does Man City Fan TV think of this? I saw someone post on Twitter tonight that Man City had professional flag wavers for tonight's game, saying new low for low. City don't understand it. Professional flag wavers. They do employ the ones who wave the big flags, but I wouldn't say in the ground waving flags, because generally that doesn't happen. And you imagine somebody professional flag wavers in front of people who can't see the pitch. They'll be told to bugger off and get out of the way. So there are people who go around and at the beginning and everything else and do all that, but I don't know about professional. I think that's just somebody winding up City fans. Lassie Obler, trying not to bash any player, but some of them shockingly were poor. They were. You can only call it on what you saw. Ocean Rage, I thought the atmosphere today could have improved too. I wasn't there, so I can't talk for the atmosphere. I only watched it on TV tonight, so I can't comment on the atmosphere. I'm sure Martin will have his comments about it because he was there. What changes would you make to the lineup, and what changes would you make in the summer? Again, when you say what changes would you make to the lineup, are you talking about tonight's lineup? Because I definitely would have started Phil Foden. I don't buy this. Pet line of. He said, was it on BT Sport, and it was in the MEN or something? He turned around and said that that we are desperate to get through this final game, and we Phil Foden will start when, and I don't buy that at all. I think Phil Foden is ready to start, not every week, but in games like tonight where you're up against a good team. And one other thing I want to point out is I thought Shakhtar defended very, very well today. I thought they looked dangerous on the counter-attack. So, a bit of credit to Shakhtar as well as just us all sort of like having a go at City. So I definitely would have started with Phil Foden. I would have started with Mahrez. He's just scored that. All right, he wasn't brilliant at the weekend, but he's just scored a goal. So hopefully his confidence is high. So I would have started with him. I would have put Bernardo inside. I wouldn't have played Gundogan. Or I might have played Gundogan, possibly, and not Rodri. I would have given... I know that the academy team had an important game that they had to win today, and they got a 5-0 win, hence why Howard Bellis and Eric Garcia and that were playing tonight, or this afternoon. So would I have started one of them? No, possibly not. I might even have put Fernandinho back in his central midfield role and played Stones and Otamendi, if I'm being honest. But, it's all ifs, buts and maybes. If we would have won 3-0 tonight, nobody would really be saying anything about it. But we didn't. We played poorly for large parts of the game. With the summer, wow, summer, we'll talk about that at another time because there are so many areas I think we need to improve on and see what is going to happen with the likes of Fernandinho. Tom T, sorry mate, it's a mentality thing. This is, we were poor at Atalanta, home to Zagreb, and now tonight, possibly is. What and who is to blame? Who's in your opinion is to blame for that? Iona Beats, Evening Blues, how are you? Kamal Dwyer, I couldn't even give a man of the match. If I had to give one, I thought Kevin De Bruyne was the one that was trying to drive us forward. He was the one that was getting stuck in and things like that. So I possibly would have given Kevin. Was it just me or did you not hear a slight boos at the final whistle? Well, I thought I heard a few boos at half-time, if I'm being honest. Final whistle. I'm not sure whether I heard any at the final whistle. They may have been. We looked lifeless tonight, Iona Beats. We definitely did. La Ciel Bleu, maybe we should just be happy and get over this game to be top of the group. Yeah, I mean, I said before earlier, I said, at the end of the day, we're through, we've topped the group. It means, thankfully, we can go to Zagreb, we can play some of the kids, we can play some of the fringe players, and it's an extra few days rest for some of the key players coming in there. So there you go. Maybe we should be happy. Yep, said that. Someone on Ray's channel wants to see Garcia versus Newcastle. I doubt that's going to happen. Tom T, Pep, I think, mate, he overthinks the Champions League for me as he did last year at Spurs, etc. Mate, it's strange. Yeah, it's. Look, I mean, who are we to question Pep Guardiola? But we've all got an opinion because we're football fans, we're City fans, so we've every right to have an opinion on it. And whether Pep overthinks it's an interesting point. Maybe he does. Maybe he thought tonight that team that he picked. And let's face it, if you looked at that 1-11, you looked at that going, wow, that's a pretty strong team. I didn't expect it to be that strong, if I'm being honest. But that was a pretty strong team. And you also have to consider another thing, and that is Shakhtar had an opportunity tonight, knowing if we get a point, if we can win, and something happens against Atalanta and Zagreb, and so they're still in it to go through. So I thought Shakhtar turned up tonight. Remember, this is a team we battered 6-0, absolutely destroyed, and were very poor. Tonight, I thought, give them credit. I thought they defended exceptionally well. They got last-ditch blocks in. They look great on the counter. They look dangerous. Anyway, why has Pep stopped playing Walker? Being saved for the derby. I think Walker will play against Newcastle, if I'm honest. Chenna, we look slow today and in the previous games as well. We do. There is definitely, and I keep saying it all the time. I've said it numerous times when we see the likes. when we used to see the likes of Gundogan, Silva and Fernandinho in the three in the middle. It just rarely works. And then lately we've seen Rodri to start with, Silva and Gundogan. Rarely works. Tonight, Rodri and Gundogan, this time with Kevin De Bruyne. And you saw Kevin De Bruyne was sometimes back getting the ball, picking it behind the back of Gundogan and Rodri. And I just don't think that works for me. I think you need one sitting holding midfielder, because there were numerous times tonight Rodri and Gundogan seemed in each other's way. And it was almost like, who's playing where? Instead of one is the one holding player, and we have two energetic players ahead of them. Hence why a Kevin De Bruyne and maybe a Phil Foden. But it is what it is. Hope to see a big improvement at Newcastle. I think you'll see definite improvement at Newcastle. We are through. How boring is the Champions League? It is certainly for games like today. Maybe I'm the only Algerian here who's glad that Mahrez gets some rest today. Well, Adele, I think he'll probably play. I'm hoping he'll play on Saturday. I've really thought he was going to play tonight. I really did. But I've got a feeling he might have been rested for Saturday. We need a point, and we saved our legs. Job done, professional. Absolutely. At the end of the day, it's just disappointing when people are investing their time to go to the game and watch it and everything else. To see sloppy. From first half in particular, some of the passes were just so sloppy. By Kevin. Cancelo's passing was awful. Bernardo Silva's wasn't great. And then you're seeing the likes of Angelino get skinned and out of position time and time again. I thought we were lucky to go in 0-0. I really was, because, let's face it, apart from that Tete delaying his shot and, both Fernandinho and Otamendi getting back to cover, they should have scored that. They should have scored it. So why Pip do this to Mahrez? You mean why Pep, not Pip, Sofiane Sadi? Why do it to Mahrez? Well, he's probably resting him for the game on Saturday against Newcastle. Tom T, not sure it's saving our legs, Kiam. We've been slow and sloppy last few weeks, but we're through. Lassiobla, Adele, we are going to play around 50 more games. Yeah, there's a lot of games to go. We've still got the cup competitions, both cup competitions. We've still got Premier League and then another game in the Champions League before we go through to the next stages in February. Awful game, but at least VAR was quiet tonight. It was. I actually thought the referee let an awful lot go tonight, where normally in the Champions League you see yellow cards, and it was good to see. It was great to see Fernandinho getting his yellow card number ratio up to the point of where he's banned for the away game to Zagreb. So quite clever there by Fernandinho. We need to realise Newcastle away is a tough game. It is a tough game. 2-1 Newcastle, says Ocean Rage. Kamal, I didn't think Angelino was poor. You didn't think Angelino was poor? Wow. I think the winger who's up against looked like the one on the fastest plays in round. He was positionally very poor tonight. Sorry, that I do disagree with you. We have so many injuries, we have to manage games. We do. Take care, Andy. Got to go. No problem, Lassiel Bleu. Enjoy your vacation, buddy. Creeper's on. Hi, Andy and all. How you doing, mate? I don't know. I'll give you my thoughts on it. Quickly running through a synopsis of the game. Ederson, what the hell was he doing? Coming out for that one early doors. It was like, wow. But we got away with it. Angelino, sorry. If people think he was half decent, I thought he was dreadful. I thought he was poor. Iona Beat says Angelino was dreadful in my opinion. I thought he was terrible tonight, I'll be honest with you. Tom T say Angelino is not good enough. Got a lot of credit at Anfield, which I don't understand, as looks like he has no defensive awareness. He's not a great defender. He's simply not a good defender. All right when he's given plenty of time to go out wide, but my lord, he's not a great defender. Right? Not at this level anyway. An area that we're screaming for Zinchenko to come back or Mendy to stay fit and get more game time. He was just average. I thought he was poor. I'm going to call it like it's my opinion. I thought he was poor, being honest. Most of the team was uninspiring, really. Yeah, I agree with that comment. Not many fullbacks are great defenders nowadays. That's a good point, Creeper. Moving on to the other side, Cancelo. I mean, I've said it all along, and this isn't because I've said it before. I just do not understand the purchase. I don't get it whatsoever. Said it at the time, and I'll keep saying it. 60 million quid on somebody who's not a great defender, and when he goes forward, his crossing is pretty bang average. And we got rid of Danilo, who can defend and is good going forward and can cross and has got a great shot. I just don't get. I don't get it. I just simply don't get the Cancelo purchase whatsoever. But hey. I missed the first hour of the game. He was our best player. In my opinion, maybe KDB. I don't understand why we brought Angelino back. Bizarre, cheap, easy to bring him back. Cancelo being good is a myth. He has no attacking threat. Danilo looks much... well, I'm with you on that one, Kamal. I said we should have got Wan-Bissaka instead of Cancelo. Yeah, I mean, at least he defends. He's not great going forward though. Wan-Bissaka, especially in a Pep team, he does like the attacking fullbacks. And for me, if you gave me a choice of Walker or Cancelo, it'd be Walker every day of the week. Every day of the week. I don't know why Pep didn't fancy Danilo. Neither do I, mate. I really don't. Maybe Danilo wanted to go because he knew he might not have got as much game time ahead of Walker. Maybe. I like Danilo. I thought he was a constant 6, 7 every single week. He rarely let the team down. Like I said, I just don't get the Cancelo purchase. I don't get it whatsoever. We didn't have to get rid of Danilo. Did you hear about Danilo calling out fans and the club? I didn't hear about it, but I believe there was something said. Kimmich is the best right back in the world, should confident. I don't know whether he'd come. I mean, Kimmich loves Pep Guardiola. And I don't know whether he'd leave Bayern. He seems like a proper German player who wants to stay in Germany and wants to stay in Germany, wants to stay at Bayern. But for me, yeah, I mean, I've been saying it now for 2-3 years. I mean, Kimmich is just an absolute class player. Kriba Danilo was a versatile player. He could play at centre-back, he's played at left-back, right-back, centre midfield. I mean, he's played everywhere. Kimmich would have cost at least 70 million. He would have cost more than that, mate, if I'm being honest with you. He really would have cost more than that. He's a jewel of a player. Absolutely wonderful player. And like I said, he absolutely loves Pep Guardiola and Guardiola loves him. So you would imagine, you could understand the first year or 18 months after he left Bayern to come to City. You could understand why he didn't want to piss off Bayern by going back and trying to get Kimmich. But, he's 4 years in now and we've still not gone in for him. So maybe he knows Kimmich doesn't want to move. Panache Tapera says we need to buy a defender in January, preferably Ruben Diaz at Benfica or Milan Skriniar. Yeah, depends on how much money, mate. There's rumours now that those two players will be well over 100 million each. Financial fair play. And the other thing that you've also got to bear in mind is that January is not a good window to buy in because players generally don't want to move if their teams are in the Champions League. Clubs don't want to sell them and players don't want to move generally unless they are going to get an astronomical salary signing on fee and the club's going to get a massive fee. It wouldn't surprise me if we went in for... It really wouldn't surprise me. And this is, and people have said it before and I've said to them to go, not too sure. Toby Alderweireld, someone like that, if we could prize him away from Spurs, give them some money for him. Maybe, I don't know, somebody like that. Because I cannot see us spending 70, 100 million pounds on a defender, fullback, striker, whatever we wanted to do in January. For two reasons. The price would be astronomical and teams in Champions League football, because most of these are at clubs that are in the next phase of the Champions League, don't want to sell them. Why would they want to sell them? So I don't know. I think the big moves are going to be in the summer when we know the likes of David Silva's gone. Fernandinho's probably on his way out. What would happen with Sergio Aguero? Will he stay, run out his contract, or will he leave in the summer? I mean, those type of questions, I think, will be being looked at now by Cheeky and Ferran. We need a defender in January. Kimmich is also versatile. He is. Not replacing Vinny was our biggest mistake this year. Said it at the start. Possibly, yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right. Maldwell, I still think we should have got Maguire. Chance. Don't rate him at all. But it's all about opinions. Panache Tapera, and I think Cancelo will hopefully get better, but I would have just kept Danilo because he was fairly consistent and versatile. I agree with that. Sandy Ken UK, what's the latest on Laporte? Looks like it's going to be towards the end of January. He's on his feet now, no crutches, things like that. He's with Sane. They're both at the point of where they're doing very, very light sort of fitness work. And I think in December you'll see him probably on the City website. You'll probably see him in the gym and things like that. And then January possibly out on the pitch doing light work and stepping up to his. Because remember, it's going to take him at least 3 weeks of being on the pitch, training pitch, before they'll even consider him. So they can actually put him through all the rigorous testing and everything to make sure everything's fine. So I don't think they'll rush him back, not with that type of injury. So I think he'll be back for the next stage of the Champions League. Maldwell, we might even go and loan. Yeah, we could. I've said that the other day. I said it might even be loan somebody as cover. Going to be interesting summer. I think it's going to be a very, very interesting summer, Creeper. I think City might go big. They might go big. And it was... remind me to come back to Sterling, because I was listening to something today. How do you think Gabby played today? I think he did all right. He worked hard. I mean, he set up Gundogan's goal. So I think he did everything. He tried hard. He worked hard. I just don't think he's as clinical as... he clearly isn't as clinical as Sergio. But brought non-stop energy. That's for certain. I think Sane will go in January. We'll buy a centre-back with a buyout clause. Don't know about that. Ocean Rage, are you still on, pal? Jesus was a ghost in my opinion. I have a feeling Sterling could move on in the summer. Well, that's what... I was listening to something today and they were talking about it, saying Sterling is right at his peak. And when you look at what other clubs have done, like Liverpool, when they sold their gem at the time, which was Coutinho, and got sort of £166 million for it, and then look at what they were able to invest in. Would City, and the discussion was surrounding Would City look at the Sterling deal and say, look, he's right at his peak at the moment. Can he get better? Possibly can get better. But we could get 200 million quid right now for him. And when you think of what we could invest that in, three players, three big name players. So it's not one I buy into. I'll be honest. But, you look at the likes of when, Spurs sold Bale when he was right at his peak, got a lot of money for him at the time. You look at likes of Coutinho going, big money. That's a lot of money. Plus with the other money in the coffers, you could be talking in the summer of £400 million to spend. That's a lot of money, and that's like an Mbappe plus 2 or 3 very, very top class players. So I don't know whether he will, but maybe it's one for another day. If I was Sterling, I would consider Madrid and Barca, says Man City. Sterling would go for upwards of 200. Well, I think it'd be around about that. Yeah, I mean, especially if you got two teams in bidding war. You got Barca and Real both wanting him. Ocean Rage, Edward Denham going to bed soon. If Sterling does leave, we'd have to go all out and get Mbappe. Jasmine Diaz, the coach must solve the problem of the defence or City will not win the title. Yeah, I'm sure he's trying. Oh, Edward Ocean, did you read Billy Mack comment on the live vlog yesterday? Live vlog. On here? I don't know. On here? Panache Tapera, I really Gabby, but he's simply not clinical enough like Aguero. I think he could do well playing in a front two, but we know Pep doesn't really play that system. Even playing him possibly on the left-hand side, maybe. So, yeah, I mean, people are saying maybe put Raz up front and put Gabby on the left. Maybe try that. I'm sure they're trying all sorts of different systems in training. Moving into the midfield, the centre-backs, I thought Fernandinho had a decent game today. It was also, I thought Otamendi did okay. I thought he got into some really good tackles, got caught out of position a couple of times. But what I did notice that it seemed that the fullbacks were getting caught out of position and, time and time again in that first half in particular, Otamendi and Fernandinho were right out on the byline, right out on the touchline, covering them, which left massive gaps. Luckily, most of the time the ball either went out or they got a decent tackling. But it was, I thought they did all right, Otamendi and Fernandinho. Midfield, Rodri looked a bit slow. Looks like he's trying to come back on here and get his something energy into his legs again. So I think that's one thing that I think we can forgive him because he's coming back bit by bit. He was tired at the weekend. He's got more legs into his game tonight, which is good news. Gundogan, got his goal, took it well, but didn't really do a great deal, if I'm honest. So Kevin De Bruyne, I thought, worked his socks off, both going forward and back. He played in 2 or 3 wonderful balls again. Just thought Gabby was a little bit slow, not getting to the near post for 2 of them at least. But I thought Kevin De Bruyne was possibly our best player tonight. Bernardo Silva, his usual energetic self. End product wasn't great. Gabby, I thought, worked hard without being really clinical. And Raz tonight had a real sort of in-out game. Always looked a threat, but overplaying a game which has sort of crept into his game in the last 2-3 games. Just maybe too many times trying to just cut inside onto his right foot instead of go around the outside, pull it back, do something different. But it was a so-so. Good to see Phil getting 15 minutes at the end, but I think it was disappointing all round, if I'm being absolutely honest with you. Anyway, let me get back to your comments. It was a comment about AFTV and Ray. What are you talking about this on here for, Edward? Why do you make comments about? I'm not interested in other channels, mate. I don't fancy Sterling as a striker. Hey, listen, when Sterling's played up front, he's done really, really well. Very, very well. I don't remember. I don't think I have. No worries, pal. Edward, are you trying to stir stuff, mate? I think Martin said it last night. I'm going to start talking about other channels and things like that on here. You're just going in a timeout. Rodri needs a rest. Well, he's had a number of weeks rest. He's only just come back from his injury, hasn't he? So, would you want Harry Kane at City? Well, this is another point. This is another point that was spoken about, and that was somebody said, well, if Poch was to wait until the summer, if Pep was to go, in the summer and City replaced him with Poch, they reckon that there's a massive, massive chance that Harry Kane would leave, go and follow Pochettino. Would be a perfect replacement for Sergio Aguero, that's for sure. And he's English, and so. But apart from that, he'd cost a bloody fortune. He'd cost a lot of money because he's right. There's no doubt, and he's right up there in the best strikers in world football. So he would cost a lot of money, a lot of money. Ronaldo is improving slightly into the play. Yeah, he is getting better, but it's very gradual. Krieber, leave this Ray bollocks on his channel. Yeah, just not interested. Because I'll be honest with you, Edward, it sounds like you're coming on here. I think you already got called out by Martin. He said that over this Billy Mack thing, that was your Billy Mack, and going on Ray's channel and blah, blah, blah. Don't come on here stirring it, because otherwise I won't just time you out. I'll just remove you from the channel. End of story. I thought they were very organised tonight and made it hard for us. So, guys, at least I've already done it. Sandy, Ken, UK. I've already said it earlier. On numerous occasions, I said I thought they were very well organised. Thought they defended very well, and they hit us on the counter very quickly. Carl's on. Hi, Andy. How are you, buddy? I say get rid of Aguero and get Kane. Kane would cost an arm and a leg. It would cost a lot of money. Kane and Sterling play great together. They do. Krieber, I wouldn't mind Kane, but Mourinho will want to keep hold of him. He will. But you know what it's like this day and age. Players have all the power. Panache Tabera says, do you remember when we played 3-5-2 against Dippers and won 5-0? It would be interesting to see that formation again. Possibly. I mean, we've said it on numerous occasions. I think in certainly the big games, you might see the likes of Stones, Otamendi, Walker, or a Stones, Otamendi, Fernandinho until Laporte's back. I agree. I mean, it definitely did work. Centre back first, I don't remember the last time a clean sheet. Just looking at the stats. If you look at the match stats today, I know the first half it was very equal, but overall it ended up 64% for City against 36% for Shakhtar. City having 16 shots while they had 7 on target to their 3, 8 corners to their 3, and 13 fouls to their 5. If you looked at stats and went, actually that looks like it's just typical City. It was a lot of that was huffing and puffing, and I would suggest a lot of that was midfielders playing it just sideways constantly. Do you regret us re-signing Gundo? No, not really. No, I don't regret re-signing Gundogan because he's technically a very, very gifted player in the right games. I just don't think Gundogan works when he plays alongside others who are not full of energy. I'd rather see a Gundogan as the holding, sitting with more energy, like Kevin De Bruyne and even Phil Foden ahead of him. I just don't think when he plays with the likes of Rodri or Fernandinho in there, and then you've got David Silva when he played with them originally with Fernandinho and Bernardo and Gundogan, I just don't think it works because he's not the quickest. He's got a good pass on him, and he's good in games where we're probing and passing and and trying to get behind the back of teams. He's good at that type of thing, but I don't know. Ocean Ray says, yeah, I'd like to see it more. Aguero and Jesus work well together as a front two. We need to see it more. While I was a bit disappointed, perspective we qualified. Don't like the 4-4-2, 4-2-3-1. Yeah, you might have heard it before, Carl. I said it on numerous occasions. At the end of the day, disappointing performance, but we're through. It's 1 point. It's all we needed. And that means that we can rest players for the final game, and that gives us a few more days before another Premier League game. So we've got that opportunity now, which is good. We're through, but you can't. You've got to say it was a disappointing. It was a disappointing game. and especially for fans who have paid to go to the stadium on a Tuesday night, on a school night, and things like that, on a cold night, to go and watch a pretty average performance. But we're through, and that's all that matters. Man City is not without Hugo McCullough. Man City is not without company. I think company's a miss, don't get me wrong. Definitely agree with that. If you're talking about it from that. Haroldinho 10 Muir, do you not think sometimes it's frustrating when we are playing really slow around the back and when we can play through the middle, be more direct with Foden maybe? Yeah, I've been saying that, Haroldinho. Said that on numerous occasions during this live vlog. Gundogan for 20 million is a bargain, and I'm not his biggest fan. It's definitely been a bargain. Creep says, we won our group at the end of the day. On to the weekend. Have a good night. All good stream. Andy, thanks, Creeper. You take care. We can't play Roderick and Gundogan. It's a squad pair, in my opinion, not a starter. What's going on with Kyle Walker? I think he was just giving Cancelo a game. I think Kyle Walker will be back in for Newcastle. But Spurs are... Boom. Really? Andy, feel free to kick me from the channel if you think I'm stirring. It's up to you, but I want you to know that you and Martin have done a great job with the channel. Thanks, mate. Nobody's just saying. I think Martin mentioned it last night over stuff. So it just seems there's just something a bit not quite right, I think. So I would I'd just be careful. We're not interested in other people's channels, mate, and what's being said left, right, and centre. Just move over. Just go if you want to go over on their channels and do it on there. Do it on there. I'm not bothered. Just don't do it on here. Bots on. Come on, you. Well, at least somebody's shouting for them, eh? Enjoy the football under Mourinho. Kamal Dwyer, I've noticed Pep prefers Cancelo and Angelino for the Champions League and Walker and Mendy for the Premier League. Probably does. I mean, remember, Cancelo's got to get game time. He has to get game time. So tonight was what seemed like a perfect time. And, like at the end of the day, when you saw the lineup, it looked a very strong team. It was just a disappointment. There's just players individually and collectively were disappointing tonight. Gundogan's like Pep's son, and another thing is, it thought Cancelo would be great going forward, but I think he's much better defensively. Still prefer Calwo. You think he's better? You think he's great defensively? Not too sure about that, but still prefer Cal though. Give me Kyle Walker over. Like I said before, and next season he might be an absolute worldie. Cancelo, I just don't understand the purchase. I just don't get it. Cancelo in for 60 million, and we give Danilo, who was a wonderful, consistent player for us, to Juventus for 22 million quid. It don't make any sense in my mind. Cancelo has nothing over Walker. No, I don't think. I think Walker's far better player, both defensively and going forward. Not great, just better than he is attacking. Yeah, but the thing is though, like I said, Haroldinho, if you go back to the summer, I did several videos on all different type of players, and one of them I did a tactical analysis on Cancelo. And like I said in that video, I read from three different really good sources in Italy who follow Juventus and wrote articles solely about his tactical side of his game. They all said he's great going forward. Positionally, as a defender, he's all over the place. He can't defend. And every single one of them were basically saying exactly the same thing. And I just thought, well, it's not what we need. It's not what we need. We've got Walker. Why would we need bringing somebody who is decent going forward but can't defend? And I don't think he's great defending. And he's certainly not shown anything going forward so far for me. I hope for our sake that Cancelo improves with Pep. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm definitely hoping and praying, seeing as though we've outlaid that much money on him. And you've got to think Pep would definitely make him a better player. But I don't know. Yeah, really wasted money on Cancelo. Okay, player, but wasn't someone we needed. 60 million down the drain. Well, it might not be next season. He might turn into be a wonderful player. Cancelo can't attack. I don't understand. Walker, Mendy, Zinchenko and Angelino are all better at attacking than he is. Hugo McCulloch says, Man City need. Sandy, Ken UK Pep has made mistakes with transfer in the past. No one is perfect and best with. Yeah, and was he? Did Pep want him, or was this like brought in by, the likes of Cheeky and Ferran? I don't know. Found it slightly boring, slightly, Dylan, just slightly. Bernardo, such poor performance from him. Mahrez is way better. Okay. Player of the season last season, Bernardo. Cancelo was better second out of it. I said earlier on, you probably weren't on then, Carl. I said, I think all the players in the second half, they improved. Not by huge amounts, but it was better in the second half. But too many times he was, in a position to play across and just hit the first player. I mean, under no pressure whatsoever. This Bernardo is so overrated. I'm a Liverpool fan, by the way. Yeah, of course he is. If you're a Liverpool fan, you'd have Bernardo Silva in your team every day of the week. Your man of the match? Probably. I said maybe Kevin De Bruyne. We need to buy Jan and the summer. Paul Roger. Jan's notoriously difficult. Bernardo over Mahrez, let's be real. Absolutely. Mahrez is not better than Bernardo. Absolutely, yeah. I agree with that. Haroldinho, desperately need a centre-back. Says it all when Ferner's by far the best centre-back at the club. Obviously, other than Laporte, and you probably mentioned it, but Rodri is some player, isn't he? I think he'll turn into be a good player. I think he just needs his fitness back. Man City needs Sancho. I think we need Sane. I'll be honest with you. But it depends on whether Sane wants to stay or not. We need to play Bernardo in his natural position. He's not a winger. I agree with that, Carl, totally. Dylan Wolfenden, sorry, mate, very boring. I haven't seen the fight and desire we've shown for the past 2 years. There is something slightly missing, Dylan, without a shadow of a doubt. There's definitely something missing this season. I agree, Carl says Man City. Bernardo walks into your team. He does. We played like we were in mud tonight. Yeah, we look very slow, pedestrian. But, if you've got Rodri and Gundogan in there, they don't move the ball as quick. Certainly not as quick as Fernandinho does when he plays in that position. Player 3 of Ferner, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo. I totally agree with that. Said that before, Carl. Could easily tonight have played Stones and Otamendi and put Fernandinho back into his natural position and play Kevin and Phil Foden with him, or Bernardo with him. How many trophies did Bernardo win last season? Not sure if it's wise not to buy in January. The thing is, JTR35 said it early. Somebody asked it about 20 minutes ago, so he probably came in late after that. But and people were saying Skriniar, Diaz, and that these are players that are in the Champions League. These are players that are going to be playing in the Champions League for their own teams. Which team is going to want to get rid of their key assets in January? And if they did, they'd want an absolute fortune for them. So it's just not a good window to buy. And I keep saying, we could possibly make a loan signing. Who knows? So I guess it's going to be a very interesting time. But I think my own opinion is a lot of the I think a lot of the big deals are going to be done in the summer. I've watched Sancho play plenty of times, but signing him up is just better. For me, Sane is a better player than Sancho, without a shadow of a doubt. Bernardo is crap from a City fan. Yeah. Just go away. Go away. Why waste your time coming on here? You're clearly not a City fan. Paul Roger, Pep needs to conduct training on shooting outside the box under pressure. Are we telling Pep now to do his job? How's Fernandinho, our second best centre-back? Don't you find that worrying? Yeah. Also, how come Gundo starts every game regardless of performance? I know he scored, just don't get it really. Good point. I think he trusts him for some reason. Nicholas Matthias, Riyad Mahrez, he's a million times better than Bernardo and Sterling. And oh my God, Jesus Christ, they're all out tonight. We can get Aki in January. Well, can we? And how much would he cost? I like Ake. I've said it before loads of times. But will he leave Bournemouth? Yeah, possibly. He's probably one of those players. Maybe an Alderweireld or someone like that. Maybe are the players that we should be looking at as cover instead of trying to entice the likes of Diaz or Skriniar from teams that are just not going to want to sell him. Nicholas, I'll have what you're smoking, please. Yeah, Ake is too small in my opinion. Not necessarily about size. Technically very good player. Nicholas, you're delusional. We would need to sell a foreign player to buy one as well. Yes. Sterling need a break. Well, Pep says that he's got incredible recovery, and he could literally play another game tomorrow. So, but sometimes a break is a good thing because it just switches them, switch them away to switch them back on type of thing. So we need to go direct to the box once in a while. Yeah, true. Mahrez is better than Bernat. Only haters, which say, "Oh God, go away." They're all out. They're all out tonight. Come on, City. Won the group, which is positive. Just need to be more clinical. Yeah, absolutely, Mike Bancroft. No problem. The nutters starting to come in. I know. I'm just removing them, mate. Getting rid of them. Yeah, of course it is. Said it before. It's a point. We're through. Means we can send a skeleton team to Zagreb, which is a good thing. We get a few more days of rest for the key players. I don't think we need centre-back for cover. We need centre-back to start. I'm not a Mahrez fan. Let's be logic. Mahrez this season is better. Better than who? He's better than last season because last season he was garbage. That's for certain. This season he's done better. Why some City fans say nobody? Oh God, you've got to go. Sorry, you're going because you're just going to inundate me with same questions that City fans hate Mahrez. City fans don't hate Mahrez. It's that simple. They don't hate him. But it seems like you can't say anything. You can't critique Mahrez without just being invaded by you mentalists from Algeria. Crazy, crazy people. Haroldinho, Kevin De Rime. Kevin De Rime could play any position and still dictate the game. His next level. Oh, he's top class. When Pep leaves City, who would you want to replace him? I think Arteta or Brendan. Well, Pep seems to think Arteta. I mentioned Brendan Rodgers the other day. I think Mahrez is good, but my problem with him is that he makes one good decision in 5. Good point, Dylan. No City fans hate Mahrez. Yeah, absolutely. We like Mahrez. It just needs to, exactly that. It just needs to be more consistent. I agree, Dylan. Panache Poch. Paul Roger, thank you for taking the time to host. Excellent, and you provide a fair presentation too. Thank you, Paul Roger. What makes me laugh is that Mahrez is born in France, not Algeria. But listen, we know it. They love him. The Algerians are just crazy, crazy, crazy people. And I think even Sterling said, "You're all crazy people," and make me laugh when he got invaded by a load of Mahrez fanboys and things like that. But I think it's just they're just so passionate about their country that they follow their players. And like if Mahrez left tomorrow and he went to Chelsea, they'd all be doing the same thing to Chelsea. And if he wasn't playing, he wasn't starting a game for Chelsea, they'd be saying that Frank Lampard's a racist and Frank Lampard hates Mahrez. And why does Frank hate Mahrez? And that's the type of things they get because they want to see him play every minute of every game. And even if he plays 3 minutes, they think he's the man of the match. And it's just their mentality. I'm sure they don't mean it in a nasty way, but they just don't. Somebody once told me, who knows a lot about Algerian football, and he said, they don't know much about football. They're not educated on football. It's just the player that they love. So they're more than welcome on, but they just, when they start invading, asking the same thing, and then they say, oh, Pep hates him and City fans hate him, and I just can't be doing with it because you answer back to one, there's 800 of them on here. Who can you see next Blues manager being? Vieira? Nope. Arteta? Vinny? Nope. Maybe Arteta. Newcastle City score prediction. I'm going to go for 3-1. I'm with the Magpie channel. with Matt from the Magpie channel tomorrow. So I'm doing a full preview for Saturday's game. So you watch it when it comes out on the channel. Can't understand what the Pep out fans. I mean, they're clearly not fans. I mean, any City fan who turns around right now and is saying Pep out are absolutely delusional. And they're clearly not City fans. How about Sterling? What about Sterling? The Pep out fans, trolls, they're definitely not City fans. No chance. After what we've just witnessed, they can either be they're either young fans who have only been watching City a few years and have only seen success, and we will lose a couple of games, and this is crap, and I want to get him out, and blah blah blah, and he's lost his mojo, and he's going to go, and get rid of him, or they're just trolling, and they're not City fans at all. I remember them calling Pep a racist last year just because Mahrez didn't start over Sterling, Sané and Bernardo. Did. They called me a racist as well. Luke Reed, City fans are at the end of too many plastic fan jokes. Some of the best support in the Prem, in my opinion. I don't even support City. Yeah, thanks, Luke Reed. We've been doing it for decades and decades and decades. But hey, it is what it is. It's the only sort of stick of a few sticks that opposition fans have got to try and bash City. A lot of it comes down to jealousy. Not all of them. I've met some just delusional. And Ash says, Mahrez fanboys used to say the same thing. It was at Leicester, always bombarding their sort. Yeah, and I had Leicester fans on here turning around and actually coming on going, you know what, he was a great player for us, but from a social media point of view, I'm so glad he's left us because we just got the same thing. Andy, do you think Stones Otamendi pairing is a disaster now? Nope. I actually think Stones and Otamendi, if they have a run of games, they should be the centre-back pairing until Laporte comes back. After 2 seasons of perfection, if this season is fallow, I will still be satisfied. Absolutely. God, yeah. Would it be disappointed if we didn't win anything? Yeah, I'd probably be a bit disappointed. But yeah, you have to take into account all of the injuries and everything else that we've been through. But if we just finish top 4, I'd go, yeah, it's a bit of a disappointing season, but it is what it is, and we move on. If we were in this position under Pellegrini and Mancini, we'd be happy with the stats of the season. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, possibly a fair comment, but we're not. We've got Pep Guardiola. Haroldinho, there's literally not a manager from past to present who'd I'd take over Pep. Not Fergie, prime number 1. No, me neither. Mahrez, no player, Bo. Mahrez, no player, Bo. Man City, is Stones good enough? Yes. In my opinion. That's only my opinion. If you could sell one player, who would it be and why? Otamendi. Oh, I like Otamendi. I like Otamendi. People laugh and whatever. I like Otamendi. To fair, Mahrez has done the same thing for 5 years. Stepo was cut in, shoot, same every time. Sometimes it works. Any good defender, it's obvious. Yeah, it's what he does. I mean, don't get me wrong. He was exceptional at Leicester. Brilliant season. And he was, he's started better this season, but it's just too inconsistent. Do you think that Mahrez deserves to play more? I thought he should have played tonight, if I'm being honest, but maybe Pep's saving him for Newcastle. I love Pep. He's the best manager we have ever had. However, I think he's got something going on in his family life that's troubling him at the moment. Maybe. Question mark from Saif. Paul Roger, his wife's in Italy. And he's here in Manchester. That could be it, possibly. If we don't win anything this season, opposition fans will call Pep a ball for a hug, but they don't tell you is that they take him out. Of course they would. Absolutely. Andy, what did you make Pellegrini's time at City? I know he's recently struggling at West Ham. Yeah, I think he did all right. He did okay. No. Not very dynamic, but I think he did okay. I would have liked to have seen the players at the time that he had, who were at the peak of their powers under Pep Guardiola. The likes of Yaya, the likes of David Silva, the likes of Aguero, and those players, Vinny, and Pep having that collective unit that Pellegrini had. I think he would have done a better job at wonderful football and things like that. But yeah, you can't complain about Pellegrini. Pellegrini, the charming man, did what he did. You don't think that Sterling need a break? Well, it's not up to me. I mean, maybe he needs a rest or just turning his head away from a game 1 week. But Pep says he's a type of player he could play tonight and he could play tomorrow. His recovery is phenomenal. But does he need to be rested? Maybe put on the bench, maybe try something different just to spark him up a little bit. He's not been the same. And remember, your Ronaldos and your Messis and everything don't turn up every single week. And we can't really say that Sterling's not been exceptional this season. I mean, and last season, he's been phenomenal. So, I wouldn't be too harsh on a player that has, on the whole, been a 7 or an 8 week in, week out. I love Pellegrini. He brought stability to the club and you could even say laid some foundations. Yeah, Ederson getting too confident. I think he looked very embarrassed tonight. He almost blushed when I got a close-up of him. And I think Pep will be having a quiet word with him. But then he made up for it when he came out the second time. I think Pellegrini is underrated. He did wonders with Malaga and Villarreal. Yeah, I think Pellegrini is a decent manager, and he did well for us. But guys, listen, we've gone over the hour tonight. It was sad when fans left the stadium early before Pellegrini's farewell speech at the Etihad, but I agree, he was a charming man. Brought Malaga to Champions League semi-final. Yeah, absolutely. Guys, listen, we're through. That's the main thing. We've got the point we needed. It was disappointing. But we're through, and like I said, it means we can rest players. We don't have to send a full squad over to Zagreb. We can play some of the kids, give the kids some more game time. See like the likes of Foden starting, see some of the fringe players starting. We might even get to see the likes of a Tommy Doyle playing in the Champions League and things like that. Who knows? So, yeah, it is what it is. It's a disappointing performance, sort of from a spectator point of view, but we're through, and that's the main thing. Onwards to Newcastle on Saturday. We'll be up there doing fan cams things. Going to do a watch along as well, and I'll be doing a preview with Matty from the Magpie channel, and hopefully do that tomorrow. I think with him. So watch out for that one on the channel because Matt's a nice guy. Later, Andy, thank you. See you, Kamal. Andy, do you think Jesus is not as good as he started last City? I remember Aguero was one. Yeah, good, fair point, but then he's not really had a good run of games. I think the commentator tonight, JTR35, made a good point, said with Aguero being out injured for the next few weeks, maybe now he's just that little bit of pressure off his shoulders that he thinks, right, I've got a chance here and get 3 or 4 games under his belt. And we've seen Jesus when he has played a number of games, he has done really well, and then suddenly he's on the bench again. So let's hope so. Have a good mate, you too, Araldinho. I'd play Raz, but Paul. Don't you think that Man City need another striker to replace? Maybe next summer. Have a good one, mate. Take care. Bye, Andy, mate. Have a good week. You too, mate. We'll be back tomorrow. Another live vlog. Don't forget, maybe check out tomorrow morning, sometime before lunchtime. There'll be the wrap-up vlog of today's game. From the Etihad Stadium and Martin. So anyway, take care. It's Andy from Man City Fan TV. Thank you all for coming on, making tons and tons of comments. So I really do appreciate it. I've had a load of you on tonight. We had over 50 watching at one point, which is fantastic. Don't forget, if you're not a subscriber, click subscribe, hit that bell icon, and comment below the video. Keep the faith, Blues. We're through to the next stage of the Champions League. This is Andy from Man City Fan TV. Take care. And we'll see you tomorrow.